When you discovered the law of attraction, you started to believe anything was possible. Life got better, much better. Now you want more, but it's not working. That's where the Manifest It Now show comes in. If you've been waiting for someone who can teach you the practical application to manifest quicker and easier while having more, turn the volume up, because the dynamic duo, Cassie Parks and Ginny Gain, are ready to teach you how to live the law of attraction like they do. It's time to laugh and learn.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Manifest It Now. I'm here with Cassie Parks.
And I'm here with Ginny Gain.
And we're going to talk about today buying and selling with the law of attraction.
Yes.
So it feels like a little bit of like a random episode for us, but you guys are going to get it. So just the idea of buying things using leveraging the law of attraction and understanding your energy and getting what you want when you're buying something and when you're selling things. And selling can be like in the literal sense of maybe you're selling something like, you know, I'm always selling things on Marketplace or OfferUp or something, or you're selling a product or service or something like that.
Yes, I love it.
You know,
and
or wait,
like,
selling an idea in a job. Like maybe you want a promotion and that's like part of that. You're selling that idea.
Yes. I was about to say when you started the topic, like if you don't think you need like this sales one, because I know sometimes people listen like, what is it about? Like stay tuned, because this is another way to hear even how to sort of get your partner involved in something and do things like that, because we are always selling. And if you do it in a way that honors you and honors the other person, it can be super easy and very fun.
Yeah, this is an exciting topic, like aligned selling. Oh my goodness.
I know.
And you know, Cassie's going to be writing a book about this at some point.
I am. I already have like the chapters outlined.
Yeah.
Because it's so important.
Yeah. What are you excited about, Cass?
What am I excited about? I am excited about everything, obviously. But we have a new little foster puppy. And I'm excited. By little foster puppy, I actually mean very large foster puppy. She's a Weimaraner.
Very energetic.
So I'm excited. She's very energetic. I'm excited about how I'm having to grow with her, but also that we get to teach her and help her, you know, grow so that she can get a new family.
Yeah. That's so nice. I love how she's helping you grow too.
Yeah.
You're good at it.
Thanks. Yeah. It's new and it's fun. And I've never, I always, dogs just like pick me. Like I end up with them. They're not, it's usually never like I go out and seek them. So this is kind of different.
Yeah. That's very, very true. I think with kids and with pets, is even if you don't go pick them, on some level you've attracted them into your life. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah
Totally. What are you excited about?
Well, in the past little while I've been auditing Skills Camp. Did I talk about this? I'm just so
you told me, but I don't think you talked about it.
Okay. I'm so excited about like just retuning in and going over everything I know so much more now than the couple years ago when I created it. And so I'm excited to just make the experience even more powerful for the women going through that. And when I think of, it really reminds me of like, when I think of if there's one message I would leave the world, it's all in Skills Camp.
Yes.
And so, like, it's so like I'm so connected to it and to everything about it and the transformation. So it feels so exciting to like be in that energy, and it's coming out soon again. So keep your heads up. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I totally get that. Sometimes I read because if someone does assignment a little bit different, like I read to see if like I need to adjust, or like just it's because I'm tuned more in and I'm looking for a different answer or something. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And very often I'm like, oh man, this can go, this is what's important.
Yeah. So where do you want to start with our sales topic?
I'll just warn listeners that, you know, if they hear the dog in the background, I can hear her. But yeah, so just a warning for that.
She's with us today.
She is with us today. Enjoy the puppy energy. And with our topic, I want to start with, I think so many people have a bad taste about salesmen. And then when that translates to is being sold something. Or like, so they have a bad taste about being sold something. And then if you have to, or you want to do it for your business or your life, or even on marketplace, right? It can create that experience that you had as the buyer can create this other negative experience sometimes as the seller, because you have this resistance because you don't want that. You don't want to create what you felt in other people's life. And I think we're going to navigate both ways, give you some tips on how to be a better salesperson, which is first acknowledge that that's okay. It's okay to like sell things if that is what you need to do, right? Whether that is on marketplace or in your business, like it's okay. And we can find a place to feel good about that.
Yeah, you're right. It really has, like, so let's start with selling. Selling really has gotten this like really bad rap, I guess, because of people who haven't done it from a connected, aligned place, right? So I think that for me, one of the first things, if you're ready to sell something, it is tuning into the value of it. Because if you're not connected to what you're offering, or to the person, to the world, whatever, you won't feel, you're not coming from that authentic place, right? So even if you're selling a pair of shoes on marketplace, or you're selling a couple $1,000 coaching program, like you have to know the value of it. You have to believe in what it's going to offer to somebody else. So when I sell shoes, I'm like, I loved these shoes and they don't serve me anymore, right? And it's, you guys, I'm going to give away one of my tricks. So when I'm selling used things online and I'm writing the ad for it, I get into the vibrational place of my favorite memory with whatever it was. And I like think about it and I'm like, oh, I love this thing. And I tell you, it sells so quickly because that's the energy going into it. Like I know the value of that thing.
Oh, that's amazing. Which, let me point out what most people probably do. They go into this energy of, oh, I have to sell or like, I want to sell this, but whatever. But the last time on Marketplace, but this is my first time. And my friend told me it sucks to sell things on Marketplace, but like all of these other things, instead of getting into that energy, technically has nothing to do with selling, but everything to do with selling.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because you're in the feel good. Like, why would someone else want this? And it's not a fake. Right? I think so often this is where people get into is they try and find that fake, this is how I feel good about it, instead of finding the real feel good, which doesn't have to be about selling. For Jenny, it's about, this is my favorite memory, which I love. That's amazing. So many more things are going to sell on Marketplace.
What would you say, Cass? So after like understanding the value of whatever it is you are selling,
after the value is it's, I mean, what we always talk about, it's trust, right? Trust the process, trust your intuition, trust that it's going to go where it needs to go, right? Whether you sell it, and there's a lot of places to get off here, I think, because that was a lot, but trusting that there is a match, which most people don't trust there's a match. You know, like if I have something to sell, there's someone to buy it. And that's where we get off, because then when, oh, it's not sold in a day, or this, or I put it up and somebody said it's too expensive, or it's this, or it's that, or nobody, you know, somebody said they wanted and didn't show up, we start to go into that fixing place that we often talk about. Instead of going back to the trusting, like, was this, you know, was the price, was the investment inspired? If you can check yes to that, great. Was, you know, do I really want to sell it? Yes. Like, can I feel good if it doesn't sell today, right? Because I think so many people, like, they want it in 5 minutes, which you can't get there. Obviously, Jenny has built that up, right?
Speaking of building beliefs, like what we talked about last week, that doesn't come in an instant.
Yes. And if you've taken on a lot of the thing about Jenny that I know, and you probably know too about her, is that she didn't take on a bunch of negative marketplace beliefs before. So she's not sort of re-trusting or relearning. Like, she probably filtered all those out before she ever even started selling a marketplace.
Actually, it's really funny because I had more than one person say, like, oh no, don't use marketplace, it doesn't work. I'm like, it always works for me.
Right? I know. I've heard you say, like, I've heard so many stories, and I'm not a person who really sells on marketplace. Like, that's, if we're going to do something, that's my love's idea, because she likes that. And I don't know. I'm just neutral about it. I don't, if I needed to, I feel like I would. And I have in the past, like, you know, when I would put stuff on Craigslist or whatever before marketplace. But yeah, like, you don't take on that. And so know that you have to build that belief, but also you're doing all the things. You're following inspiration. What's the price, right? You're not asking someone else what the price should be. You just get the price. And I had a client who just did this. She shared it in an interview that's coming out, but none of her family thought this thing would sell. She had a price that felt good. It sold so fast. And she wanted it out of her house, but she was like, okay, well, what should the investment be? She got it inspired. It sold so fast. Her family didn't believe it. You know, and then her husband was like, oh, maybe we should have charged more. And she's like, no, that was the perfect place. And it was so easy.
Oh, I love that. That's a big one too, is finding that price that feels good to you and that you're in alignment with. Like, we could do that's a whole training on that. But I think I'll
have that training one day.
Yeah, you will. I think the other really important thing too is, so when you're selling, like, I always want who's ever going to get it to have the best experience too. Like, I don't want someone to buy. Okay.
I just want to stop there.
Okay.
Like, in order to be a great seller using the law of attraction, you have to want the other person's experience to be amazing.
Yeah.
If it is one-sided, that energy will always be felt. And that energy will be, like, on some level, yucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When people are coming into Skills Camp or Truth Tribe, like, I don't want to ever convince someone they should do this. Like,
me either.
That's the opposite energy, I think. Well, a foundation of growth and opening, but that doesn't feel good to me, because I know this person needs to be ready, whether it's coaching or buying a pair of running shoes. I want them to have the best experience that they are asking for. And so when that plays into trust, like, when you're putting your focus there, it's so much easier to trust, because there's nothing for you to control in that. You just know you want to have a good experience. You feel comfortable with this price. You feel, aligned with the experience that you're going to give. And then you just you want that for the other person and the receiving end, and everything just lines up.
Yes. And it's so important, because the energy that goes into it matters.
Yeah.
So
everything, guys,
right?
Energy
like everything.
Matters.
Everything. So if there is especially when you're selling like a coaching program, or you're selling anything that's connected to transformation, if you're convincing someone, they can never fully trust the process, because if they were convinced or in a way manipulated by, asking the right questions, or, sort of whatever it is, right? And asking questions is good, but we're talking about in certain trainings where it's like, oh, overcome this subjection, overcome this. Like, it comes back later. If you were you didn't get to fully trust yourself in your yes, but you were kind of convinced. And if the person allows themselves, that comes through the whole thing. It comes through the whole experience. Which is why, as the buyer, if you're not 100% certain, it should be a no, because that influences everything else that follows.
Yeah. I want to say just one more thing about that. So if you're being manipulated, or this is the sales process, so your intention is to convince them, you're not giving them the opportunity to choose. You're not giving them the opportunity to say yes for themselves. And so that's why they are not starting with trust, because they never get to choose.
Yes. So, but as you're always want to go into it, giving the full choice to the other person and trusting you get whatever you need.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh,
so let's talk about the buying side a little bit, the receiving end of this.
Yeah. I think we're almost taught to expect this stuff. So there's a certain, like you have to come into your, anytime you're buying something, you have to you have to think through, or you have to prepare.
Oh my God, like who else cringes when they, have to go to a car dealership, or like a salesperson's walking up to you, you're just like, ugh.
Right? Like you automatically, you can feel it in your body that you like shrink, or you want to go away, or, because of what's happened before. And so it's really important to decide what you want the experience to be like, right? And follow inspiration and be willing to walk away.
Keep going.
Yeah. So I want to tell this story. I would do it differently now. I don't think I would need sort of the backup. But when I bought my Jeep 15 years ago, I didn't want to be pressured. I wanted to make sure I had a full yes. For me, like investing and paying on something for 5 years was a big deal. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to be certain for myself. And so I was going to trade in one car that I had, but I actually had my like car that I'd had in high school, which had been totaled, but it was still drivable, and I still drove it for gas mileage. I would always take that car because that wasn't the car I was going to trade in. And the salesman's like, you didn't bring the car so we can evaluate? It's like, I didn't, darn it, I'll have to come back. But I'd still like to drive the Jeep today. And I did this 3 times because I wanted to be sure. And he did. And today I think I wouldn't go back to him. But in the past I had some like invisible obligation that I felt to like, oh, I've talked to him before. Yeah. But if he said what I'm about to say to me today, I would walk out immediately and I wouldn't come back. Mm-hmm. So at one point he said something like, so I think my payment was going to be $256. And he's like, the average car payment is $700 in Colorado. Like, this is nothing compared to that. You should be so happy. Mm-hmm. And, I was like, that doesn't mean that's what I want. Like, I'm not basing my decision on everyone else. Today, I would walk out and I would not go back to him. I would keep walking away until I found the salesperson that was willing to let me walk away.
Yeah. That's, right? I love those words, because I think sometimes some of the hardest things to, is just knowing what words to say and things like that. Like, that's not how I make my decisions, or I want to make my decisions based on what I want, or I want to make my decisions based on, those were great words that you said to him that I don't think you probably actually said to him, but I think we could. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
I recently said it to a solar salesman. I said, yes. I don't make my decisions based on this. I make it based on inspiration. Yes. So there's nothing you can say that's going to convince me, because until it feels right inside, it's not going to be a yes.
Yes. I've definitely said those words. Like, I always say, I make my decisions based on what feels best. I said that to the Windows guy. I said that to the last guy I hired for my company, and I was like, I am choosing you because it feels the best.
Yes.
Like, okay.
Which is, if we just all put down all of sort of if every salesperson put down that training, worked on their own stuff, because we probably don't have time to go in this today, but I think as a salesperson, for me, it's really about believing that person isn't going to make or break your day. You want to be open for the people who need you. And so getting a no, if they say no, great. Then you're just open for the next person.
Yeah.
I think that's our responsibility, is to know that we're going to be taken care of with or without a sale.
Yeah.
Right. And so, because don't you want people to feel really good about, oh yeah, they felt good, so they said yes. Not, I made them, I talked them into, I explained enough so that they felt good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think when we're being sold to or we're receiving something, we can maybe walk into the next experience with, and this is something you can take away and practice, is as you see that person coming up to you, or as you are going into a store with something like that happening, or getting on the phone with someone, I'm open to getting everything I want here, or I'm open to this being a really great connection. So, because I think we do have to get out of our own way in order to have a good experience being sold to. We are the ones that have to start with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a little bit of selling and a little bit of buying and being sold to. Anything else you want to add in here, Cass?
Just like everything, it takes practice, right? So if you realize, I didn't feel 100%, but I felt, 70% instead of 50, like just keep practicing.
Yeah.
And be good to yourself in the process.
I love it. Have a great week, guys.
Bye.
Go be awesome.
Thank you for joining us on the Manifest It Now show, where you learn how to leverage the law of attraction to manifest your dreams. Now that you're inspired, share the love and review us on iTunes. While you're there, remember to subscribe.